40 days after signing a shiny 5-year deal, and Kevin Stefanski is already at the center of what could become one of the most awkward coaching situations the NFL has seen in years. This was supposed to be the safe hire, the steady hire, the adult in the room move for the Atlanta Falcons. Instead, rumors are swirling, locker room tension is being whispered about, and somehow the quarterback of the future might already be in the middle of a power struggle. And if even half of it is true, this isn't turbulence, this is a pressure cooker. Because when Arthur Blank hands you the keys to his franchise, he's not paying for chaos, he's paying for control. And right now, control looks shaky. But this didn't start in Atlanta. It started with a reputation. When Kevin Stefanski was hired, the reaction around the league was calm. 2-time coach of the year, offensive mind, experienced, professional. The Falcons had a young roster bursting with speed and upside, and the thinking was simple. Plug in a veteran coach and watch this thing take off. On paper, it made sense. You've got Michael Penix Jr., a rocket-armed quarterback with sky-high expectations, Drake London climbing over defenders, Kyle Pitts creating matchup nightmares. Bijan Robinson redefining versatility out of the backfield. This isn't a rebuild. This is a loaded sports car sitting in the driveway. All it needed was the right driver. But almost immediately, something felt off, because resurfacing alongside the excitement was a detail that refused to stay quiet: the NFLPA report card. These aren't fan polls. These are anonymous player surveys. Real players, real locker rooms, real opinions. And during his final season in Cleveland, Stefanski reportedly received a C- grade from his own players, ranking at the bottom among NFL head coaches. Let that sink in. It's one thing for media to criticize you. It's another thing entirely when the men suiting up every Sunday quietly say, "This isn't working." And here's the brutal truth about the NFL. Players don't quit franchises. They quit leadership. If a locker room doesn't believe in you, your playbook might as well be written in pencil. That grade wasn't just about wins and losses. Reports suggested concerns about communication, connection, and culture. And once that narrative gets attached to your name, it follows you, which brings us to the moment things got louder. Because when Cam Newton spoke up, he didn't dance around it. He questioned the fit, not the intelligence, not the resume, the fit. Newton pointed toward how Stefanski handled high-profile personalities in Cleveland, specifically the situation involving Shedeur Sanders. Sanders was drafted in the 5th round, but let's be honest, his spotlight was first-round bright. Big name, big confidence, big presence. And according to critics, his development didn't exactly scream empowered. Cam framed it as something deeper than scheme. He suggested it was about personality management, about how some coaches struggle with players who carry swagger, identity, and influence. Now, that's not an accusation, it's a question. And questions get uncomfortable when you drop them into a city like Atlanta, because Atlanta isn't quiet, it isn't rigid, it isn't traditional in that old-school fall-in-line way. It's expressive, it's confident, it's cultural. You can't just walk into that locker room and expect mute obedience. You have to connect. So when whispers started that Stefanski was already exploring quarterback alternatives before training camp even opened, that's when eyebrows shot up. Because moving off a young quarterback is one thing. Moving off him before he even gets a real shot? That feels like a message. And messages in NFL locker rooms travel fast. If Penix senses doubt, the receivers sense it. If the receivers sense it, the offensive line feels it. Confidence is oxygen for quarterbacks. Cut it off early and everything tightens up. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Arthur Blank didn't draft Penix just to watch him become optional. Owners at that level don't invest in first-round quarterbacks casually. That's a vision play, a long-term blueprint. So if your brand new head coach is reportedly pushing to pivot at the most important position on the field, you're not just talking about a depth chart decision. You're talking about philosophy. Are we building around the franchise quarterback, or are we building around the coach's preferences? That's not a small disagreement. That's a structural one. And when ownership and coaching start pulling in slightly different directions, the entire building feels it, which is why the rumors about internal frustration hit differently. Because firing a coach 40 days into a 5-year guaranteed contract, that's financial madness. We're talking tens of millions of dollars. Nobody makes that move lightly, unless something feels broken. There were